Hey there, Nikki Harden, psychic medium and formulator of 21 Cleanse. So today I want to share with you how you can get unstuck, because if you're finding that you're continually feeling stuck, or like you're just hitting your head against the wall no matter what you're trying to do, I want to ask, are you following your brain, or are you actually tuned in to the wisdom of your body and following the whispers of your heart? Because your body is actually the most intelligent instrument that you have, and it will always take you where you want to go and where you need to go when you relax, listen to the whispers, and follow the flow. So I have this incredible story to share with you about how powerful you really are at a deeper and greater level than you can even conceptualize. So when I was in Maui a couple weeks ago, I did a full, was it a new moon? No, it was a new moon ceremony. It was a water ceremony, and we had an eclipse. It was just like a week ago, right? And I was preparing to get ready for it. You know, I've got all kinds of little nooks and, little magic things that I bring to my water ceremonies. And I kept seeing an image of this specific beach that I sometimes go to. Now, I could see, it's like Spirit was specifically showing me this image of where I needed to go and where I should do the ceremony. And if I were in my brain, I would have thought, well, I don't ever go to that beach. And when I go to that beach, then that's not the part of the beach that I actually really like. So I wouldn't do it there. But I didn't do that. I've learned enough that I just follow the guidance, right? So I was seeing very clearly where I needed to hold this water ceremony. So I went to the beach, I created my circle, I put all my doohickeys in, and before I even started, just when I was preparing, all of the elements started acting up. The wind kicked up, I could tell that the nature, like the birds got louder, and the water, it wasn't even high tide, and the water was coming up way higher. It was trying to get a hold of the offerings that I had brought for it. So I did the ceremony, and it was really, really beautiful. And I actually got there later than what I'd wanted to. And so I was able to capture sunset. And even though it was like beyond sunset and getting dark, I was sitting there, I'd completed it. I was really just sitting in the space of gratitude and the beauty that's created when you do rituals like this. And I just kept feeling like I just got to get in that water. I just got to get in that water. Yet my brain was like, it's getting dark, it's late, like there's a kind of like a curfew where my car was parked, right, in the parking lot. They shut the gates. But I just felt like I had to get in this water because it was like the cleansing of all of what had just gone on. And you know how amazing and cleansing water is, right? Especially the tropical salt waters. So I went for a swim, and it was so fun. It was so fun. And I was the only person there minus two. There were two other people, and no one else was in the water. And it was the most gorgeous night. And I was just like mermaiding around. It was so fun. And my brain kept saying, it's getting dark, it's getting dark. But I knew that it was like my monkey mind rather than my inner GPS and like my innate wisdom saying, hey, it's getting dark, get out of the water. So I did my full swim, completed my swim, and I was walking to my car, and I just kind of heard this like, I'm not ready to go yet. And I was like, okay, well, we don't have that much time left because the parking lot's gonna close. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna walk all the way across the beach and go to the Four Seasons then. So I walk across the beach, I go to the Four Seasons, and I'm there, and I stop to wash the sand off my feet at their little water place and the shower, and then I'm about to go up the steps to, where they've got the hangout areas, and all of a sudden I just heard this stop, and I'm like, okay. And I just like turned around and I just kept taking in. I was feeling overwhelmed by the beauty, and I was really in reverence of the sunset and the sky and everything, and I just wanted to take more of it in, right? And so I'm standing there. I'm kind of like, I created my own little makeshift seat right at the bottom of the stairs, kind of out of the way. And all of a sudden I felt this energy come around the corner, this female presence, and I looked over, and it was kind of weird because I was feeling very quiet and private, right? So I wasn't really making eye contact with people, but this was so powerful that I turned and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like Tracy. And then I looked again and she goes, Nikki? And a friend of mine from my master's program, when we went through our spiritual psychology program, when we got our master's, and there's like less than 200 people in that program. She comes walking down the stairs, turns the corner, and we're literally standing face to face. We give each other the biggest hug. We're like, oh my gosh, like, how did this happen? And I said, we were both just literally like our jaws dropping. And she proceeded to tell me how she was in her room with her daughter. They've already finished up for the night. And she just felt this like undying urge to just go for a walk. And so she says to her daughter, like, I'm just going for a walk. And her daughter's like, where are you going? She's like, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just going. And she said she totally just kind of was roaming around and going where she was led. And we were completely led to one another. And we just hadn't seen each other in about over 2 years. And it just was this magical encounter. And that, to me, is so reflective of just how innately intelligent all of us are when we listen. And none of the events of what I would have done if I had listened to my brain would have even taken me to that beach. And for Tracy, it's the same, right? But yet there's a greater force at work here for us always. And we're plugged into that greater force. And that force, when we're tuned into it and we're tuned into ourselves, to our body, listening to the wisdom of our body, following our intuition, which is housed in our body, you connect with your intuition through all of your somatic experiences. So the more in tune you are with what your body is wanting and where it needs to go, the more you end up being exactly on point. And you get those whispers of your heart, which always plug you into exactly where you need to go. So my question for you is, are you struggling because you're shooting on yourself and moving from your head rather than tuning into the wisdom of your own body and your intelligence of your heart and following flow? So this is a big reason why I got into full body detox, because it is like so empowering to help me get out of my own way. It takes those conversations and it diminishes them to almost nothing, right? And then my own wisdom comes forward and it leads. And because you're on a path of self-care and really prioritizing that, that's the first thing. So your body starts to take lead. And then it takes you exactly where you need to go, because your body knows there is a greater plan and you're plugged into it, and your body knows that. Your intuition knows where to be and when to be there before you even do. All you have to do is just surrender and keep following that flow and listening to the whispers of your heart, right? And then another beautiful thing that I love about detox is that it raises your vibration. So it just naturally takes you where you want to go, and it attracts what it is that you need and want on a conscious and oftentimes unconscious level. You don't even know you want it, because that vibrational state, that field, is bringing it in because it knows before you. And because you're in this process of letting go of what doesn't serve you, all of that stuff falls away and you just stay at this heightened state of existence. It's really, I just love detox. So obviously I'm going to talk about it. I'm also going to talk about the importance of detox for tuning into your intuition, always. But I'll keep, so let's get back to this first. If you're feeling stuck, here's a few options for you. Try my full body detox. Try my 21 cleanse. It's on my website. You can get it. Notice your life will change. I will take that to the bank. And if that's not an alignment for you, just take a day, set aside a day or maybe even a couple of hours and do it in a way that's not consistent. Like if you could do it in a work day or take a half day off and take that space and don't go into to do, should. Just give yourself that space to tune into where your body wants to go and what your body wants to do. It's just, okay, so what's next? And go there and just see where you end up. Okay, so then you did that, you finished lunch, you got lunch exactly where you wanted to go. So what's next? And just see when you move into the surrender process and you allow it to be revealed for you and you learn to trust your own guidance, trust your own inner GPS, you're going to just really move more into a state of flow. And be prepared, because when you do this wisdom that's in your body, the whispers of your heart, which is actually what is there to tell you what's next for you to do, to undo that stuckness. But here's the magic. You have to learn to follow that, because so often to get unstuck, it's not about should, structure. It often takes a process that doesn't make sense. Like when you start to tune into this wisdom, you will end up doing things that don't make sense to you, but then that all lead you to exactly where you need to be at exactly the right time. And detox can support you in that too. So anyways, I hope that this video has been helpful for you. I hope you get unstuck. I hope you realize your body is seriously the most intelligent thing you can ever tune into, because it's tuned into the universal GPS. So you want to tune into that, listen, and stay in the flow.